The story of the game, I think, was Ja's great final minute after a rough previous 47. But there was a sidebar, and I think the sidebar was probably the job Jaylen Wells did on Anthony Edwards, the rookie out of Washington State, who was the third leading scorer on a whatever Pac-12 team last season.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he was. And he got a big job in Minnesota. His job was to try to slow down Anthony Edwards. That is a job I guess somebody has to tackle every game when you're playing Minnesota, in Minneapolis or anywhere else. And it is not a job it's not an assignment everyone succeeds in. But he took the assignment, and he was terrific. Anthony Edwards averages 20 shots a game. And yet in a game in which Minnesota took 83 shots, Anthony Edwards only took 13 of them. That is largely because of Jaylen Wells. And Ant only made 4 of those 13 shots. He was 0 of 5 from 3, marking the first time that he's failed to make a 3 in a game in nearly 2 months. With Jaylen Wells now, some people are calling him the best rookie perimeter defender in the NBA. He is also averaging 11.7 points per game right now. No rookie is averaging more. And he's doing it for a team with the third best record in the West that if they win tonight could, end up in second place in the West. Percentage point situation would be as of tomorrow morning, but certainly to see how this week unfolds. He's doing this for a team that's contending in the West. No rookie's averaging more points per game, and he's being called the best perimeter defender among rookies in the entire NBA. And that's why he's now among the favorites, not necessarily the favorite, but among the favorites to be Rookie of the Year when that award is announced after the season. Big Bennett, most folks seem to still think the Grizzlies might need to add a veteran wing, perhaps Cam Johnson from Brooklyn. There's some internet chatter connecting the Grizzlies to him for obvious reasons. But it should be noted that both DeMichael Cole and Drew Hill, who cover this franchise on a day-to-day basis here locally, have downplayed the amount of attention that should be getting right now. Could it happen? Sure. But right now, according to Drew and DeMichael, it's more of an interesting what if than a development likely to materialize. Either way, we'll see. The trade deadline is still, a ways off. But when Jaylen Wells continues to play at a high level and can shut down one of the elite guards in the world and continues to look comfortable, it does make that less of an urgent thing, particularly when you also have, theoretically, Gigi Jackson and Vince Williams coming back at some point. Just everything we're seeing from Jaylen Wells, I hate to sound like a broken record. I feel like we've talked about this before, but that was another encouraging performance in what is becoming a pretty sizable list of encouraging performances.
Yeah, man, he's been awesome. Like, I don't, as far as Rookie of the Year, like, I don't think they're going to take into account his defense, which is what he, like you said, he's been awesome. I think that whoever wins Rookie of the Year is probably going to be the rookie that scored the most points. That's where I land on that. But I think he should be in the mix as much as anybody. You're right.
But sometimes, I know defense is not the thing anybody's going to be able to find in a box score.
Mm-hmm.
You typically need somebody to tell you about that. You can't watch highlights and be like, oh, I guess Jaylen Wells was great defensively last night. You need somebody to point it out and highlight it. But when people start highlighting those things and pointing out those types of things, it can have an impact on voters. I guess it was a mini thing last week when the Rockets coach, for whatever reason, expressed a lack of understanding in Marc Gasol ever winning Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, right.
But I do think that
so weird.
It was just out of nowhere. Like, why
weird out of nowhere shot. I didn't understand that.
Yeah, like whatever. I don't even care.
Yeah, that's fine.
But my point to bring it up now would be that I don't think it was obvious to the untrained eye that Marc Gasol was the best defensive player in the world that season. But there was a lot of advanced metrics that highlighted that and illustrated that. And then you get people like Zach Lowe going on TV and talking about it and saying Marc Gasol registers ABC, and Marc Gasol is doing DEF, and then next thing you know, that just sort of trickles into the way people are discussing the NBA, and suddenly everybody's calling Marc Gasol the best defensive player in the world. But it all starts with people smarter than the average fan, really diving in, looking at the numbers, and then saying, you guys should be paying attention to this because it's worth paying attention to. Mm. If enough people keep talking about, did you see what Jaylen Wells did to Anthony Edwards? Did you see what Jaylen Wells did here? Did you see the assignment Jaylen Wells took in this game? Then that can become a part of his candidacy, and it can be something that plays a role in him being honored at the end of this rookie season in whatever ways he will be honored. It's not always going to be great. I mean, it was just not too long ago, James Harden was a very tough assignment for him. And I know bigger wings have caused problems this season. He's been pretty good with the, ones and twos, and when he has to guard bigger guys and stronger guys because his body is, he's a rookie not even halfway through his rookie season.
Right.
His body will look different this time next year, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. So he struggled a little bit with size and strength, but largely he's been encouraging, and what he did with Anthony Edwards, undeniably encouraging.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.